What's up, guys? So we have an interesting one today. So to get right into it, the first part is the discussion or dive deeper assignment that we did. Which of the assisted reproduction technologies is the most puzzling or difficult to decide about? I think the biggest one would be like that AID, artificial insemination by donor, and sperm sorting and selective reductions. Only because I think the main things you got to think about here are all these needed in a medical reason? I think that's the first thing we got to think about. I think that's the kind of biggest answer is what matters most, the medical. Is there medical need of doing this? And obviously it's not always medical in the going to there, but I'm saying the options that we use are have to be medically ethical, and also there has to be a medical reason for using certain. So for the AID, it should be limited on the number of offspring per donor, and there should be genetic, psychological screening, make sure that everything's healthy. Sperm sorting should only be allowed for sex-linked genetic disease, once again that health factor. But like I said, non-medical reproductive manipulation is not ethical and should not be sought after or used. And then selective reductions only happen when it's medically necessary, and there's got to be counseling too, with it. That's a big decision. So it's kind of just what is the best option, what is needed, what do you actually need, not these wants or anything like that. Have to be it has to be thought about actually intentionally in that way. And then for the next part, how will I go deciding what technologies are good to use versus which ones I'll forgo, and future down the line, whatever. And I think the main things would be, one is health. So it's I need to make sure that it's healthy for the child being born, avoiding, what are the options that avoid these diseases and is helpful in this way. What are the options of what makes it healthy for me to be around and my wife. I gotta be thinking about my wife too, putting her needs first, and what is good for our family. But I need to make sure that the technologies are clearly improve the health and well-being of my future child, right? So gotta make sure that the child's healthy. To ethics, it's got to be an ethical process here. We're not looking for the intelligence factor or the height factor or hair color, eye color, stuff like that. I feel that's unethical. So options that allow for that, no, don't need that. I think you're in that place for a reason anyways. It's a blessing that you even have that option, so why even go further? It's got to be perfectly like this, and then trying to see if there's another option I wrote. Yeah, okay, so it'd be if the child is actually what my family needs. We're probably in that process of, we prayed about it, we thought about it, is this the best option for my family? So kind of considering that, but out of what technologies are good to use, what the health of the child and my family at the end of the day, and then the ones I'll forgo are the ones that are not ethical, choosing height or whatever, all that stuff. So yeah.